In a small African village, a poor girl stood up in front of a billionaire, and the whole village laughed at her. He looked at her old clothes and said, "You, a village girl? You cannot stop me. I will buy this land, and no one can do anything." She went home with tears in her eyes. She was poor. She was alone. She had no power. They thought she was nothing. They were wrong. But that night, under her mother's old bed, she found a dusty wooden box from her dead father. Inside it was one small secret folder that would destroy the billionaire's entire empire. The sun rose slowly over the small African village. Soft light touched the mud houses, one by one. Thin smoke came out from small kitchens. Roosters crowed. Children laughed as they ran barefoot on the dry ground. The village was poor, but it was full of life. Women walked to the farms with baskets on their heads. Men sat under trees, fixing old tools. Goats moved between houses without fear. People greeted each other with kind words. Zuri stood alone, but she did not stay silent. If you want to hear more stories like Zuri's, subscribe to African Tales by Cairo. Everyone shared what they had, even when it was very little. At the edge of the village stood a small mud house. Its roof was old. Its walls were cracked. Inside lived a young woman named Zuri. Zuri was 20 years old. She was slim and quiet. Her clothes were simple but clean. Her eyes were calm, yet thoughtful. She woke up before the sun grew hot. She swept the floor. She washed her face with cold water. In the corner of the room, her mother lay on a thin mat. Her body was weak. Her face showed pain. "Mother," Zuri said softly. "Mother, mother, mother," Zuri said softly. "I will go to the market now." Her mother opened her eyes and tried to smile. "Go, my child," she whispered. "May God protect you." Zuri picked up a small basket. Inside were tomatoes, green leaves, and a few onions. She had grown them herself. She walked toward the road where people passed. Some bought from her. Some only looked and moved on. She never argued. She never begged. Her father was no longer alive. He had worked in the city many years ago. People said he died far away. Zuri did not talk much about him, but she remembered his voice. Strong, honest. That morning felt strange. The ground shook slightly. A deep sound came from far away. Engines. People stopped working. Children ran toward the road. Men stood up and looked. Big black cars entered the village. They were shiny and clean. Dust covered everything around them, but not the cars. Men in dark clothes stepped out. They wore glasses and stood straight. Their faces showed no emotion. Then one man came out slowly. He wore a fine suit. His shoes looked new. His smile was cold. People whispered to each other, "He is very rich. He comes from the city." The man looked around like a king. "My name is Mr. Kadim," he said loudly. "I have come to help this village." Some people smiled. Some clapped. Zuri stood quietly at the back. Her heart felt heavy. She did not know why, but something did not feel right. The villagers gathered under the big tree near the open ground. Old benches were placed in rows. The elders sat in front. Women stood behind them. Children watched from the sides, quiet and curious. Mr. Kadim stood in the middle. The dust did not touch him. His bodyguards stood close, like walls. One of his men opened a brown folder. He took out many papers. They looked fresh and new. "These papers will change your lives," Mr. Kadim said. "My company will build a factory here. You will get jobs. You will get money. You will no longer be poor." A soft sound of hope moved through the crowd. Some villagers nodded. Some smiled for the first time in many days. The papers were passed to the elders. Most of them could not read well. They trusted the rich man's words. Zuri stood at the back, holding her empty basket. Her eyes stayed on the papers. Something pulled her forward. She stepped closer. One elder held the paper loosely in his hands. Zuri leaned in and began to read. Her breath stopped. She read again, slowly. The land, the farms, the water paths, all would belong to the company. Not for a year, not for 10 years, forever. Her hands began to shake. "Please," Zuri said softly. Please do not sign this. The crowd turned. Mr. Kadim stopped smiling. He looked at her like she was dust. What did you say? He asked. This paper is bad, Zuri said. It takes our land. It leaves us with nothing. People whispered. Some looked confused. Some felt fear. Mr. Kadim laughed loudly. A hard laugh. He pointed at her. A poor village woman wants to teach me business? Some villagers laughed with him. Not because they agreed, because they were afraid. You sell vegetables, he said. You know nothing. Zuri stood straight. I can read, she said. My father taught me. His face darkened. Your father is gone, he said coldly. And you are nobody. The words cut deep. Guards, he said calmly. Move her away. Two men walked toward her. They pushed her back. She lost balance and fell to the ground. Dust covered her clothes. No one spoke. Zuri stood up slowly. Her eyes were full of tears. Her chest burned with shame. She looked at the elders. They looked away. Mr. Kadim turned back to them. Sign, he said. This is your only chance. Zuri ran home. Her feet moved fast. Her heart felt broken. Behind her, the pen touched the paper. Zuri reached home with heavy steps. Her chest felt tight. Her eyes burned with tears she did not want to show. Inside the small house, her mother looked up slowly. What happened? Her mother asked. Zuri tried to speak, but no words came. She sat down on the floor and covered her face. Her mother pulled herself closer. She placed a weak hand on Zuri's head. They laughed at me, Zuri said softly. They signed the paper. Her mother closed her eyes. She said nothing for a long moment. Then she spoke in a low voice. Your father once said this day might come. Zuri looked up. Her mother pointed under the old wooden bed. There is a box, she said. Your father left it for you. Zuri had seen the box before. It was small and brown, old and dusty. She pulled it out. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a folded file and a small USB. On the file were faded words. Secret folder. Zuri stared at it. What is this? She asked. Her mother took a slow breath. Your father worked in the city, she said. He worked for a big company. Zuri listened closely. He saw bad things, her mother continued. Land stolen. Money hidden. Papers changed. Zuri felt her heart beat faster. He copied proof, her mother said. He hid it here. Zuri opened the file slowly. Inside were old notes. Names. Dates. One name appeared again and again. Mr. Kadim. Zuri felt cold. Her mother looked at her with tired eyes. Your father said, she whispered, if someone tries to take our village, open this box. That night, Zuri did not sleep. The next morning, she walked to the small school near the farms. The village teacher sat inside, reading. Sir, Zuri said, I need help. The teacher looked surprised. They connected the USB to an old laptop. The screen loaded slowly. Then, files opened. Pictures, documents, signatures. The teacher leaned closer. This is serious, he said. Very serious. Zuri is risking everything to save her village. If you support brave women like Zuri, subscribe to AfricanTales by Cairo, and stay with this story till the end. The papers showed land stolen from many villages, fake promises, bribes, all signed by the same man, Mr. Kadim. The teacher's face turned pale. He is powerful, he said. This can destroy lives. Zuri stood still. If we stay quiet, she said, he will take everything. The teacher looked at her. He saw fear in her eyes, but he also saw strength. Outside, the wind moved through the trees, and far away, a danger had already begun to wake. Zuri walked home with the teacher as the sun began to fall. The sky turned orange. The village looked quiet, but fear lived in the air. People stood in small groups. Some whispered. Some stopped talking when Zuri passed. Inside the house, Zuri packed slowly. She folded one clean dress. She added some dry food. She wrapped the USB and papers in cloth and tied them tight. Her mother sat on the mat and watched her. You should not go, her mother said softly. He is a dangerous man. Zuri knelt beside her. I am afraid too, she said. But if I stay quiet, he will take our land. He will take our future. Her mother closed her eyes. Tears rolled down her face. Your father would be proud, she whispered. Go, but promise me you will be careful. I promise, Zuri said. That night felt very long. Zuri could not sleep. She kept hearing Mr. Kadim's laugh in her head. She kept seeing the paper being signed. Before sunrise, Zuri and the teacher left the village. The road was empty. The air was cold. They reached the small bus stop near the highway. An old bus waited there. Its paint was faded. Its engine made loud noise. They sat near the back. Zuri held her bag close to her chest. Her hands were shaking. The bus started moving. Slowly, the village disappeared behind them. Zuri looked out of the window. She saw farms, trees, dry land. She wondered if she would ever see them again. Halfway to the city, the teacher spoke. I know someone, he said. He is a young journalist. He fights for truth. Zuri nodded, but fear stayed in her eyes. What if no one listens? She asked. What if he stops us? What if he stops us? The teacher sighed. We must try, he said. Silence helps evil grow. The city appeared like a giant monster. Tall buildings, fast cars, loud horns. Zuri felt very small. They got off near a busy street. People rushed past them. No one looked twice. They walked toward a small cafe near the corner. The journalist worked nearby. Zuri felt a strange feeling on her back, like someone was watching. Across the road, a black car slowed down. Its windows were dark. Inside the car, a man watched carefully. He saw the teacher. He saw Zuri. He saw the bag in her hand. The man picked up his phone. Yes, he said quietly. It is her. Far away, in a tall office, Mr. Kadim stood near the window. The city lights reflected in his eyes. She is in the city? He asked. Yes, sir, the man replied. She has a folder. Mr. Kadim's face turned hard. That folder must not be shared, he said. Follow them. Do not let them escape. The call ended. Inside the cafe, Zuri sat down slowly. Her heart beat fast. Her mouth felt dry. The journalist arrived and greeted them. They began to talk in low voices. Outside, the black car stayed still, watching, waiting, and danger followed them into the city, step by step. The city felt too big for Zuri. Cars moved fast in every direction. People spoke loudly. Horns did not stop. Zuri walked beside the teacher, holding her bag tight. Tall buildings stood like walls around her. She felt lost. But she did not stop. They followed the journalist through narrow streets. The road was crowded. Shops were small and noisy. Finally, they entered a small office above a printing shop. The stairs were old. The room smelled of paper and ink. This is my place, the journalist said. My name is Daniel. He looked young, but his eyes were serious. Zuri sat down slowly. Her legs felt weak. The teacher placed the bag on the table. He untied the cloth and took out the USB and papers. Daniel leaned forward. What is this? He asked. Zuri spoke in a low voice. These papers can save my village. Daniel connected the USB to his laptop. The screen lit up. Files opened one by one. Pictures, land maps, signed papers. Daniel stopped breathing for a moment. This man, he said slowly. He has done this before. He pointed at the screen. Many villages, he said. Same trick, same name. Zuri felt anger rise in her chest. He laughed at me, she said. He called me nothing. Daniel looked at her. You are not nothing, he said. You are brave. The teacher looked around the room. Can you help us? He asked. Daniel stood up and closed the door. Yes, he said. But this will be dangerous. Zuri nodded. I know. Daniel explained his plan. We will make copies, he said. We will send them to news offices. We will send them to the government. We will save them online. See, Zuri listened carefully. What if he stops you? She asked. Daniel smiled sadly. He will try. As night came, the city lights turned on. The office felt small and quiet. Suddenly, footsteps sounded outside. Slow, heavy. Zuri froze. A knock hit the door. One knock. Then another. Open. A deep voice said. Daniel held up his hand. Stay quiet, he whispered. The knock came again. Open the door, the voice said. We just want to talk. Zuri's heart beat hard. Her hands shook. Daniel moved to the window. He looked down. Two men stood outside the building. Both wore dark clothes. Who are they? Zuri whispered. Daniel did not answer. The door shook as someone hit it. Give us the folder, the voice said. Forget this story. You will be safe. Zuri stood up slowly. Fear filled her chest. She thought of her mother, her sick body, her weak smile. She thought of her village, the farms, the children. Her voice was soft, but firm. No, she said. Daniel looked at her. Zuri took a deep breath. If we stop now, she said, he wins. Daniel nodded. He quickly uploaded the files, one by one, to many places. The knocking grew louder. Zuri closed her eyes. She was afraid, but she did not move back. Not anymore. The knocking did not stop. It grew louder, harder. The door shook with every hit. Open now. The man outside shouted. This is your last warning. Zuri's legs felt weak, but she stayed standing. Her heart beat fast, like a drum. Daniel typed quickly on his laptop. His fingers moved without rest. Almost done, he whispered. The teacher stood near the door. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. The door crashed open. Two men stepped inside. They were tall. Their eyes were cold. One of them pointed at Zuri. Give us the folder, he said. And no one gets hurt. Zuri held her bag tight. There is nothing here, she said. Her voice shook, but she did not cry. The man laughed. You are brave, he said. But bravery does not stop bullets. Daniel stepped forward. You are too late, he said. The files are already sent. The men froze. What? One of them shouted. Daniel turned his laptop screen toward them. News offices, he said. Government offices. Online backups. You cannot stop it now. The man's face changed. Anger filled his eyes. He grabbed Daniel by the shirt. You think you won? He shouted. Suddenly, sirens sounded outside. Loud, sharp. Police cars stopped near the building. The men released Daniel and ran toward the stairs. Move! One of them shouted. Footsteps echoed as they escaped. Zuri sank into a chair. Her body felt empty. The teacher sat beside her. It is over, he whispered. But Zuri shook her head. No, she said. It has just begun. That night, the story spread fast. Phones rang in newsrooms. People shared messages online. By morning, the city was talking about one name. Mr. Kadim. His face appeared on screens. His deals were exposed. In a tall office, Mr. Kadim watched the news. His hands trembled. How did this happen? He shouted. His phone kept ringing. Partners refused his calls. Banks froze his accounts. Outside, police cars waited. At sunrise, officers entered his office. They showed him papers. You are under arrest, they said. Mr. Kadim said nothing. His world fell apart. Back in the small office, Zuri watched the news quietly. Tears filled her eyes. Not tears of fear, tears of relief. Daniel looked at her. You did this, he said. Zuri shook her head. My father did, she said. I only listened. The teacher smiled softly. You gave us hope, he said. Zuri looked out the window. The city no longer felt so big. She picked up her bag. I want to go home, she said. Daniel nodded. You should, he said. They will be waiting. As they stepped outside, the air felt lighter. Danger was still there. But fear no longer ruled her heart. Truth had found its voice, and it was loud. Police cars moved fast through the city streets. Sirens were loud. People stopped to watch. In one police car sat Mr. Kadim. His hands were in metal cuffs. His face was pale. He looked out of the window. The city he once ruled now felt strange to him. At the big court building, many people waited. Cameras flashed. Reporters spoke loudly. Mr. Kadim stepped out of the car. He did not smile. He did not speak. Inside the court, the room was full. People whispered. Everyone waited. Zuri sat quietly in the front row. She wore a simple dress. Her hands rested on her lap. The teacher sat beside her. Daniel sat a few seats behind. Zuri's heart beat fast, but she stayed calm. The judge entered the room. Everyone stood. The case began. Boxes of papers were placed on the table. Land maps, photos, signed contracts. The lawyer spoke first. He talked about stolen land. He talked about lies and fake promises. Village names were read out loud, one by one. Zuri listened. Each name felt heavy in her chest. Then the judge asked Zuri to stand. She rose slowly. Her legs felt weak, but her voice was clear. I come from a small village, Zuri said. We trusted this man. She pointed toward Mr. Kadim. He promised jobs and roads, she continued. But his papers took our land forever. The room stayed silent. Zuri took a breath. My father worked in the city, she said. He saw these crimes. He kept the truth safe. She held up the USB. This folder shows everything, she said. The judge looked closely at the files. He read quietly. Mr. Kadim's lawyer tried to speak. He talked about business, about mistakes. The judge raised his hand. The proof is clear, he said. Mr. Kadim looked down. Sweat rolled down his face. You used money to hurt poor people, the judge said. You broke the law again and again. The room felt heavy. I find you guilty, the judge said firmly. A deep sound moved through the court, not loud, but strong. Zuri felt tears fill her eyes. The judge continued. All stolen land will return to the villages, he said. All fake deals are canceled. Zuri closed her eyes. Relief washed over her. Outside the court, people waited for news. When they heard the decision, voices rose. Back in the village, elders listened to the radio. Women held hands. Men bowed their heads. Hope returned. Inside the court, Mr. Kadim was taken away. He did not look back. Zuri stayed seated for a moment. Her body felt light. Daniel leaned toward her. You were strong, he said. Zuri shook her head. I just spoke the truth, she replied. The teacher smiled softly. And truth is stronger than money. Zuri stood up. For the first time, she felt free. The bus stopped slowly at the edge of the village. A cloud of dust rose into the warm evening air. Zuri stepped down from the bus and stood still. For a few seconds, she did not move. The village looked the same. Mud houses, dry ground, old trees. But something felt different. People were standing on both sides of the road. Men with tired faces, women holding children, old people leaning on sticks. No one laughed. No one whispered. They were waiting. An elder walked forward. His back was bent with age. His voice shook. We were wrong, he said softly. We did not listen to you. Zuri lowered her head. Her heart felt heavy. We were afraid of money, the elder continued. We were afraid of power. But you were afraid only of losing our land. The elder stepped aside. Another man spoke. When they pushed you away. He said, we stayed silent. That silence almost destroyed us. A woman came forward next. Tears ran down her face. You warned us, she said. And we laughed. Slow clapping began. One clap. Then another. Soon, the whole village clapped. Zuri felt her chest tighten. Tears filled her eyes. She searched the crowd. Then she saw her mother. Her mother stood near their small house. She looked weak, but she was standing on her own. Mother, Zuri whispered. They walked toward each other. They held each other tightly. For a long time, neither spoke. That night, the village felt lighter. Not rich, not perfect, but free. Days passed, and change began to arrive. Government workers came in white trucks. They walked through the farms with tools and maps. They measured land again. They removed old signs. This land belongs to the people, one worker said. New papers were given to the elders. Clean papers. Real papers. The elders read them slowly this time. A broken water well was repaired. Clear water flowed again. Women laughed as they filled their buckets. Children played near the water. A small clinic opened near the road. Zuri's mother received treatment there. Her breathing grew stronger each week. The school roof was repaired before the rains came. Children returned to class without fear. Life did not change in one day, but it changed honestly. Zuri returned to her studies. She read every night. She learned about land rights. She learned about laws and contracts. Soon, people began to visit her home. They came from nearby villages. They came from far farms. They showed us papers. They said. They promised help. Zuri listened carefully. She read every line. She pointed at dangerous words. "This sentence takes your land," she would say. "This one is safe." She never shouted. She never insulted. She remembered the day she was mocked. Far away, behind tall prison walls, Mr. Kadim lived a different life. No suits, no cars, no guards. His room was small and cold. The walls were gray. One evening, a small television played quietly. Zuri appeared on the screen. She was speaking at a village meeting. "Poor people are not foolish," she said. "They are only ignored." Mr. Kadim stared at the screen. He remembered the village, the dust, the laughter. He remembered calling her nothing. Now, no one called his name. The television showed villagers cheering. He turned it off. Silence filled the room. Back in the village, the sun set behind the farms. Golden light touched the trees. Children played near the big tree. The same tree where Zuri once fell. Zuri stood there quietly. She touched the ground. She did not feel anger anymore, only peace. That night, she sat beside her mother. "You protected us," her mother said softly. Zuri shook her head. "I only spoke," she replied. "Truth did the rest." The stars filled the sky. The narrator's voice slowed. "Never laugh at the poor. They may carry truth you cannot see. Money can hide evil for a while, but truth always finds a way." One brave woman, one small secret folder, was enough to destroy a dirty empire. The village slept in peace. And this time, I hope stayed. Zuri proved that courage does not need money. If stories like Zuri's journey inspire you, subscribe to African Tales by Cairo for more African stories of truth and justice.